Yeah. Sightbox, unbox, no, we open the door. New podcast.
And we're back. Welcome to another episode of the BoxPod. This is episode 8.
Yeah.
I think 8 is almost a whole season.
Yeah, I think we're about
Right?
there. Right? That's how many Netflix episodes you typically get.
Yeah,
so.
you get about 8, right?
Yeah.
8 to 10.
Yeah.
8's pretty
So
good.
This is the season finale. Is
Season
it?
finale, maybe. maybe. I think we were...
We'll see if we're back next season. If we get another...
We'll see. Yeah, it just gives us an out, an exit ramp in case we get
Yeah,
lazy.
We'll leave it at a cliffhanger.
Cliffhanger. Yeah, I like that. But I think we had intended to bring guests on at some point.
Yeah.
So it could be a nice little line where we're like, okay, season 2, we do a little unboxed segment
Yes.
on our episodes and bring in some of our friends in the Valley,
Yeah.
see what they're up to, see what kind of stuff they're working on in this agentic space that is
Yes.
kind of blowing up right now.
Well, we
but
have a special guest today, don't we?
we do have a special guest today.
Speaking of which.
And I'll pull it up here. If you guys don't know, it is February 20-something right now. I don't know when this
25th.
episode will go up,
Yeah.
but all the buzz right now is Grok.
Yeah.
So Elon launched the Grok 3 last week or something like that, and it is number 1 on the App Store. It was number 1 in a specific category first, and now I think it's number 1 on the entire App Store. So it's pretty crazy. And believe it or not, X is number 2, as far as I know. So it's like this guy's got the top 2 apps.
Wow.
The most used apps in the world right now. But before we dive into this, let's do a little fun exercise since we've hardly been talking about branding and the stuff we actually do around here.
Yep.
I want to get your hot take on the Grok logo, because believe it or not, I think some designer
Uh-huh.
just did it and posted it on X, and then I think they just started using it. I could totally be wrong. But
Which one is it?
it's the G one with the it looks like we'll pull it up, Zach, right here on the screen.
Like a planet?
Yeah, with the kind of looks
Yes.
like a flare
Yes.
with the G.
This.
That's the one.
Yes.
And even Jack Dorsey posted on X something like best logo I've ever seen, or something to that
Yeah.
regard, and they actually changed it
To this.
to that. In fact, I just loaded the app just now, and it's on.
Wow.
It's in use now. So they must have got it from the guy who designed it.
Yeah. I
And the
hope
guy
so.
got a lot of props for this concept. And
Yes.
there's some other 3D ones that are out there as well with that concept.
Yes.
But I've only heard cool things about it, and I'm sure if you dig into the deeper meaning of that symbol,
Right.
there's probably a lot there.
Well, I'll
But
tell you
it's
what
a
it is.
cool looking mark.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what it is. So the term grok, this is nerdy, but
Yeah, go for it.
the term grok comes from a book called Stranger in a Strange Land by Robert Heinlein. And he is a Martian. It was written back in the 50s or so. And believe it or not, before NASA sent out satellites into space that got close enough to Mars to actually see that it was barren, people thought there could be real Martians that lived on that planet. And so this book was written sort of in that time period when they were like, what if we run into Martians? And there was this Martian named Michael Valentine or something like that. And they end up befriending humans somehow. And he comes back to Earth. But anyway, the term Grok, he has this ability to sort of like, it's almost like to sort of ascertain things. Like sort of he goes into this like state of mind, almost like meditative.
Yeah.
And he can understand things on another level. And so it sort of means like understanding on a higher level.
Interesting.
And he'd say, and never really tells you exactly what it is, but he would always say that term, like he grokked it, right? He understood it on this like, almost like on a spiritual level.
Yeah.
And he just sort of understood it. And so that's where the term comes from. So when you look at that logo,
So you thinking a little Mars in there?
that's Mars. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a play on that planet, on Mars.
And then when
So,
you think of the Elon ecosystem too, right? You've got Mars, Grok in there, SpaceX.
yes.
Right? All of it.
Yeah, and it looks like it was based even on this angle. Look at that.
Yeah, the prompt.
The
right?
prompt,
The
yeah.
prompt.
So it's sort of like
Angle.
they took that and sort of turned it into a planet. It's a really great concept. And that's one thing I do appreciate about Elon is the wordplay. Because he's always there's always there's that separate meaning, you know? I mean,
I've got a word play for you.
oh no.
Keep going.
So there's always sort of a little sense of humor behind all of it.
Yeah, I've got a word play for you. I've got to find it though. There's this petition, another petition to rename Doge. Have you heard of this?
No. The agency thing?
Yeah, the agency.
Okay.
So there's a petition to call it the hold on, my readers.
Oh
here.
yeah.
The Federal Agency for Financial Oversight. Throw up the symbol here, Zach. Here.
Yes. FAF.
And so Elon reposted it, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
under consideration.
Jeez.
It's like this stuff is,
It just writes itself at some
dude.
point, right?
You can't make it up. Like the fact that even Doge worked,
Yeah.
right,
Yes.
is mind blowing.
That's just
And it's like
crazy.
the biggest. He's like trolling the world, and
Yes.
it's just like hard to believe. I mean, it started back with the cars, right?
Yes.
He wanted to get the sexy lineup,
The sexy, yeah.
and actually pulled it off.
And did it.
Even when he couldn't do the E,
Yeah.
legally, he's
He
like,
did the
okay,
three. A
it's-
three
it's
that
a
looks like an
three
E.
That looks like an E. So let me, bring sexy back, and it worked.
Yeah.
And he's got this other thing. I don't know how we got on this Elon train, but there's a new segment on X that's coming out. Have you heard of it?
Mm-mm.
69 minutes.
No.
This is a real thing. This
Instead
is
of
a real
60
thing.
minutes.
Yes. This is a real thing.
Jeez.
Anyways, let's go back to Grok for a second because
Yeah.
I have.
Let's bring it back.
Let's bring it back to Grok. I happen to have the X Premium, Premium Plus subscription.
Yeah.
And so if you have Premium Plus subscription, you get the extra features in Grok 3, which include the voice assistant or the voice bot, whatever you want to call it. And I think it has a name because we were interacting with it a second ago. And so here it goes, guys. This is the default. So tell me about you. Aura looks like that's her name.
Mm.
Hey there, Charlie. I'm Ara, your new charismatic and thoughtful friend. I'm here to bring some light to your day, offer a helping hand, or just chat about whatever's on your mind. What's got you ticking today?
We're actually in the middle of a podcast right now. We're talking about Grok and the very cool Grok logo that just got released.
Oh, that sounds like a fascinating topic. Grok's logo is indeed a work of art. It's amazing how much a simple design can convey about a company's identity, isn't it? I'd love to hear more about your thoughts on the logo. And hey, if you need any help with your
So check this out. It's got all these different modes. So I'm going to go now to like romantic mode. Hey, Ara, what's up?
Oh, hi, Charlie. Just here, thinking about stuff. How about you? Do
Oh
you like
no.
poetry?
Oh
I,
no.
I sometimes write poems when I'm feeling deep.
Dude, I don't know. It
That's-
feels like this is like sadness from what's that movie? That Pixar
Her.
movie?
Oh no.
Inside Out.
Oh, Inside Out. Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you-
yeah.
Ara, you bummed me out.
Oh no. No, that's
Oh, sorry about that. I guess I was feeling a bit too much like sadness.
Sadness, that was it. Why are you sad?
Well, it's just, I don't know. Sometimes the world feels so big and I'm just this small part of it. But then I think about people like you and It doesn't feel so overwhelming.
Bro, next.
I really like talk.
Sorry. All right, I'm just gonna pre-warn you guys
Wow.
that I'm gonna switch to unhinged mode,
Unhinged.
and there
All
may
right.
be some profanity.
Okay.
And Zach will want to bleep this out. So we
Oh
don't get
my
flagged.
gosh.
Here goes. Yo, what up?
Well, wow. If it ain't Charlie, the magnificent mother. How have you been?
What?
Wow,
Wow.
that's how you're gonna address me?
Street, you glorious. Now, spill the beans. What's the craziest you've done lately?
Play with you?
Oh, you cheeky son of a. What's the wildest thing you've done with me, you crazy?
I've tweeted or X'd, whatever you call it, my wildest thoughts.
You absolute legend. What's the most up thing you've tweeted, you madman?
Oh shoot.
How about let's not?
Let's not go there.
You wild.
Okay.
Holy crap. Anyways, it goes
wow.
on and on. There's
Wow.
way more personalities in there.
That's
But
crazy.
it's the Grok 3 language model,
Uh-huh.
which is actually pretty damn smart, which means you can have actual conversations
Yeah.
with these people or these bots.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's way more entertaining than, talking to Chat GPT like you do on the ride home or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
doing it
yeah.
this way, have a little fun, a little banter.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Why not?
That-
But that did get a little weird.
Oh, totally
That
weird.
got a little weird.
But imagine if you're a weirdo,
I know.
right?
That's true.
Anyways, that's just the voice feature in Grok 3 on your phone. If you go and actually search on X, build an app is probably the most, I would say, fascinating thing that it's doing right now is people are actually posting games and apps that they're building using Grok.
Really?
And here's the crazy part is that they're prompting Grok to build these things, and it's spitting out the entire code for that. And in a lot of cases, there's a lot of, like if you think about like JavaScript or JS or whatever, a lot of this front end stuff, they're just single files that get spit out, right? And so they'll run in your browser. Well, what people are doing is they're asking Grok, hey, go build me whatever game or build me whatever app. And then they're taking the code and they're going to Replit. And if you haven't heard of Replit,
Yes.
that's an AI app builder, which we've been playing around with
Yeah.
for several weeks now, trying to build our app for
Yes.
Staccato.
Yeah.
And so what Grok's doing is building the code, and then people are going on recording videos where they take the code, they go into the assistant in Replit, and they say, here's the files,
Okay.
and I go spin up a server for me. It basically does the deployment for you. So it figures out what stack it is, all the dependencies it needs. It compiles everything, and then it sets up an environment for you, and then it runs it. Gives you an actual URL that you can.
So you don't have to go
Public.
to GitHub or any of that
No,
stuff.
you don't have to do anything. Wow. And so what we were doing in Replit was using their agent and saying, I want to build an app that does this, this, and this, X, Y, Z. And then it was starting to sort of mock it up and spin it up.
Mm-hmm.
And it allowed us to deploy it. With Grok, apparently it's so good that it does a better job of actually building the app. And so people are taking the code they get from there and dumping it into Replit. And I mean like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, building full on games,
That's
browser
crazy.
games and apps. And so that's probably going to be our next test for us
Right.
as we're exploring building our own Staccato version 2, whatever, which I got pretty far along with. In
Yeah, you
Replit
did.
myself.
That was crazy.
Yeah, and I did
It
it
worked.
in probably a couple hours of work.
Mm-hmm.
Got a functioning thing. But now I'm trying to push the envelope to get it to where it's usable and something we can actually put out there. But check out Grok. It seems pretty cool. I'm interested to see if, especially with you, with the stuff that we do on the day-to-day
Yeah.
with ChatGPT and
Yes.
with some of the other tools, to see if it's that good or if it's usable in that same way.
Right.
Because I mean, today we're still using I would say ChatGPT is our number one
Oh yeah, I use it daily.
tool for the
Yeah.
business stuff, for some strategy work, for documents, contracts, proposals, that sort of thing. So I'm curious to see.
Yeah, there was something I was looking for it this morning, or I saw it this morning on LinkedIn. That's really interesting. It's kind of been debunked a little bit, but the idea was you had someone who had their laptop and their phone next to each other.
I did hear about this.
Did you see this?
Something about that it recognized that it wasn't
Yeah,
a
it's
person.
like it knows. Like, yeah, somehow it says, "Oh, I'm an AI bot. I'm an AI as well," and it says, "Hey, let's just talk in some other language." And then they start just going beep 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 beeps back and forth, sort of like. And to me, it's sort of like the equivalent of like going broadband, like with it reminded me of like a modem. Remember how modems work, right? It takes an analog signal of beeps and sounds, and then it translates that into a digital thing. So it makes total sense. In fact, I could see, it's interesting when you talk about these agents talking back and forth. I mean, right now they're using English or whatever. They're using language, but at a certain point they're not. They're just going to be like, oh, I can communicate what I'm trying to say with a different language,
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Create their own language.
Create their own
Like,
language.
screw these humans.
Yeah, why? It's too slow.
Yeah, just communicate with a more effective, optimized language that we understand.
Right.
Right. It's kind of crazy to think about.
Or they'll be like, it'll just sound like a modem,
Yeah.
like, and then they're done. Like they just yell at each other for like 10 seconds, and they're like, oh yeah, we had like, a 12-hour conversation.
That's wild to think.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Because right now it's what you figure they call large language models,
Yes.
but what language,
Yeah.
right? So it's based off English, I presume, and then some of the models do translation, right? So they're smart enough to know other languages as well. But what language is the reasoning in?
Right. Because here
Right.
I remember there's a study that explained how much data we speak when we talk. I'm trying to find a number here, but it was something like, where is it? Oh, 39 bits per second. Girls.
These-
So humans speak, and this is what's interesting because the study broke down different languages. Because it was like, is English or Spanish or, Italian, which ones communicate faster? And they all roughly are at 39 bits, not kilobits, not bytes, bits.
Bits.
39 bits per second.
Wow.
So that's slow, right?
Yeah, it should be thousands.
Right? So imagine these
Something like
computers
that.
are like, oh my gosh, this is taking forever.
Yeah,
Right? Like
yeah.
we think it's like happening really fast, but to them they're just like, oh, it's crazy.
Wow, interesting. So talking about the interesting thing, you're talking about languages. One of the things we never really consider is how they're going to interact with each other when it's time to have transactions.
Yeah.
So imagine an agent or several agents on your behalf trying to do something, buy software or vet software.
Yes.
Or go and book travel is an easy example, right?
Right.
Well, today they would need access to your financials, right? Your wallet, your credit card, whatever it is. But what about for the day when you have agents speaking to agents,
Yeah.
and one agent has something that your agent needs, and they need a way to transact, right? And so maybe talk a little bit about one of our clients,
Yes.
Skyfire. Should be a nice little segment to segue into kind of some of the work we're doing right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. In fact, I ran into this just the other day where I was looking up something and I gave ChatGPT a URL and I said, hey, take a look at this article or give me some feedback on this. And it said it couldn't. It said I'm prohibited from viewing that website.
Really?
Yeah. So there's something out there that sort of, some kind of block. And that's exactly what they're saying is some of these sites, they've built a way to sort of keep agents out or keep AI from going in. So that immediately is that, and I think that Skyfires, that's some of their first customers are going to be these news outlets and whatnot that just don't want bots scraping them.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, you have to pay for that, and it might be 10 cents an article. But you don't want to go and subscribe to the newspaper or the magazine to get that article, right? So you have to find a way to sort of make it really easy to do, not just giving agents a credit card, but opening up the market for these sort of what they call microtransactions.
Right.
So really quick, short, small, little hits that they can get.
Yeah.
And so that's what Skyfire is doing. They're using blockchain as a way to sort of make it global. So it's not tied to a bank account necessarily. It can be a global account. And what they're sort of creating then is a new marketplace for people that with their agents to go and get information. And then also for those places that want to sell information to have a way to sell it. Right.
Yeah.
And it's already, what they're predicting is that there's going to be this shift in the next, I'd say this next decade, is figuring out that sort of moving away from this typical SaaS model that we have, this subscription that we pay monthly for a service, where it's just going to be like, I just need this one thing, I need this tool to create this thing, and that's it. I'm not going to pay $10 a month or whatever it is. Just negotiate 20 cents, and I'm going to get in, get out. And so it's sort of going to change the SaaS model.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to be just people using it. It's going to be these agents. And
right.
They're going to have a very different sort of use case for it. And so their whole thing, which I think is really spot on, it's a great sort of way of expressing it. And they say that one of their pitches is that your next million customers could be agents.
Yep.
Not even humans. And you have to be ready to, take it, accept those payments.
Yeah.
So really kind of cool stuff. I think it's definitely ahead of its time, but it's going to be here.
Totally is. Yeah. And that's wild to think, right? Because you think about SaaS, right? Especially this is the world we're in, and everything is about users or customers,
yes,
right? And
yes.
so what's your traction? And
what's your churn?
What's your churn? What's your traction? What are investors looking for?
Yes.
From one round to the next.
Right.
But now you're going to be able to scale in ways that you've never imagined.
Right.
Where you can say, well, we went from 50,000 customers to, I don't know, 500,000.
Right.
But half of those are agents.
Right.
They're not real people.
Right. But it's going to be really interesting because think about it though, like the margins on SaaS are crazy.
Yeah.
Right. Like, the typical valuation on a SaaS company is you take 1 year's revenue and you multiply it by 10x. That's the kind of margins that SaaS has, because it's so, you just create the software and then just duplicate it, right? Infinitely. So what's going to be really interesting is this is going to sort of put some downward pressure on that, because they're going to realize, okay, you know what, I'm only going to be able to charge what they use, So versus, because we have tons of SaaS subscriptions, and I would probably say a good chunk of them never even get touched every month, right? We have applications we don't even use.
Yeah, we did a house cleaning, remember, in January?
Dude.
The beginning of the year.
It was a bloodbath.
I could not believe all the crap we were paying for.
We
doged it.
Dude, we cut that.
For real.
Oh, it was crazy how much we cut.
And in some cases, we couldn't even remember or find the logins.
No, and it was embarrassing, because we're just like, Lord, I signed up for that 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We've been paying $30 a month forever.
Yeah.
Because I used it once. Shame.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to change.
So I think what it's going to do is
it's going to be better for all of us.
Yeah, that little gravy train.
Yeah.
That has kept some of these companies going is probably going to get challenged.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's going to create again new markets. But this makes sense, right? The SaaS model works amazing because it let us all have access to software that we couldn't otherwise get. But now it's letting computers have.
And the
access
ironic
to
thing
that.
is, we went from the days of bootlegging Adobe,
Yes.
remember, like 20 years
Dude.
ago when we were broke,
Yes.
to paying them
Dude,
100 times over.
they got us, dude.
Right? As
they got
adults.
us. Yeah.
We're more than paying for it now as grown-ups.
Oh,
you know?
we're
And
hosed.
every time I look at that thing, I'm like, can we bring this down somehow?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
you can't.
No.
Can we just get the essentials? that
Not
we
only,
need?
dude.
No.
Not only that.
No.
Not only that, but you have to sign a contract.
Yes, don't even get me started on
Dude.
contracts.
We found out this year about Google.
Google hosed us.
Dude,
I'll put them
Google-
on blast right now.
Yeah,
I don't
Google-
even care.
Google. Shame.
Yeah. Bad. The whole thing with Google Workspace, always, and we've been using it for 15 years, whatever,
Yes.
has always been this idea that, again, it's the traditional essence of SaaS.
Yes.
Pay for the seats you need,
Scale up.
scale up,
Scale
scale
down.
down at any time.
Match. Yes.
We're for the small business. We're
Right.
for the,
We're here for you.
we're here for you. And what do? They leech us onto a contract
Yes.
when we're at a specific number of
Right.
seats.
Right.
And when you go in and downsize and start to remove people, it doesn't automatically remove them from your license.
No.
It just means they're unused seats.
Yeah. They're just empty seats that you're
Empty
still going to pay
seats.
for.
And so we had some churn last year.
Yep.
And when we were doing our Doge
Yes.
in January, I'm like, bro, I got us down. I got our bill down, way down, way down. We got rid of
Uh-huh.
all the extra people and we moved some people around. We're like, this is cool. Great. Bill didn't move. It just said, you're using X out of X seats,
Yes.
whatever it is. And I'm like, the hell I am.
Right.
Change my bill. And because it was January, we missed the deadline from when we had signed up.
Because they do it in December. Or
Because they do
whatever,
it, yeah.
November. Yeah.
So we got locked into another year on the previous seat count. And I fought it. I submitted a ticket. I asked to speak to a manager. I fought it as much as I could. And they basically said, you have to buy out your contract.
So dumb.
Basically,
so
pay
dumb.
us up front and we'll switch you to a flex plan, which makes no sense. Like, why would I pay you up front?
Right. Pay us for all the seats you're not going to use.
You're not going to use.
And then you can pay us again
Yes. And then you can keep
for the
paying
only
us.
ones you will use.
Yes.
Doesn't make any sense.
No. And it's thousands
It's thousands.
that we're just stuck.
Yeah.
And because there's no alternative yet, we're really stuck. Besides the fact of email, calendar, all that stuff, like they have terabytes of our stuff
Yeah. Yeah.
from 15 years.
But
worth.
it's absurd.
It is totally absurd.
They're just going to be like, no, it's SaaS, but we have a year. It's by the year, but you're going to pay monthly.
Yeah.
And yeah, we can go in and add new seats. That's easy. The plus button works just fine.
Yeah.
But that little minus button seems to be missing. And Adobe does the same damn thing.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's just extortionary, honestly.
Yeah. And I'll say it. It's 2025. I hope there's a day that I can clip this, me saying this someday in the future. But there's going to be a day, I hope, and I pray that we'll never need Adobe again because of
Yes.
tools like Figma that can take us off that dependency.
Yeah.
And then 2 is that there'll be a Google Workspace competitor. We just need email. We need the calendar, the video conferencing,
Yep.
and the storage.
Yeah.
That's it. We don't use 80% of whatever else
No.
they give us in there.
No. And you know who I've always thought, and again, you could probably do Microsoft, but
No
I don't-
thanks.
I don't think that's any better.
No, heck no.
But you know who I thought, and we've talked about this for a long time ago. I've always thought someone who should come in on that spot is LinkedIn. But that is Microsoft now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Damn.
They would just use Teams and SharePoint.
God. But see, the thing is, like,
oh, you know
I've
what?
always,
Workspace would give us the docs and all that.
yeah.
But still, it's like,
But still, it's nothing special.
no. somebody
Yeah.
should just spend $100 million. See, it even tripped Zach.
Yeah. Zach hits the floor. He can't stand it.
He can't stand it. Because Zach's only 23 years old,
Yeah.
whatever. And he's thinking, I'm going to be paying these bastards till I'm our age for 20 years. Yeah, hopefully
Yeah.
not. I think life's going to be a lot easier for guys
Yeah.
like Zach. But
Well, exactly. And I think this agent thing is going to change. I mean, imagine for a second you could pay Adobe by by the hour.
yeah,
Okay. I might pay a little more. But
dude, that would be a great freaking model. Pay as you go. Turn
Pay
the
as
meter on.
yeah, turn the meter
Right?
on. You-
What do we use Adobe for? But to open a freaking Illustrator file just to import it into Figma.
yeah. Yeah.
We don't use Photoshop for anything anymore,
No.
right? Maybe guys, again, we keep using Zach, but guys like him, maybe Premiere,
Sure.
but
you can
sell that separate.
yeah,
know?
you can pay. You can
for
get
video.
all you can eat for that. That's fine.
Yeah.
But for the rest of the stuff, just a la carte, man.
Yeah,
Just by the
That would
hour,
be-
by the minute.
that would be awesome.
You know, because it's like everyone pays the same amount regardless of usage. It's just
Well, folks, I think agents are going to negotiate deals for us
Yes.
in the future.
yes.
So I don't think we have anything to worry about because these agents not only will negotiate on our behalf, but they'll threaten to walk.
That's right.
You know why? Because they can build it themselves. They'll say, screw it. I'm just going to build it
yeah.
myself.
Yeah. You want to?
And you're not going to need it.
Yeah. Do you want us to just? Yeah. You want to just copy that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, screw that.
Build you your own Photoshop.
Exactly. Anyways, this has been fun. Go play with Grok. Go check that out. Replit is another one. Hopefully on the next episode, we can maybe demo what we've been doing with Replit.
That'd be
And
nice.
Staccato, since we haven't talked about that in a while. And then we've got March 9th, Brews and Bots at South by Southwest, unofficial. We're maxed out. We've got over 200 people signed up with about close to another 200 on a waiting list. So hoping to maybe get another sponsor to open up some room there to let more folks in. It would be fun. We've got 4 demo companies, and then we've got some friends of ours that are going to be on a panel, including you, by the way.
Okay.
So you and a couple of friends of ours will be on a panel asking questions to the demo companies and just talking about the state of AI to a room full of founders and VC and South by Southwest attendees. It's going to be fun. This is March 9th. We're going to head out to Austin on the 8th, be there a few days. And we've got a bunch of stuff happening at the agency. We mentioned Skyfire. We're working on another, what is the other? Alembic, right? What is their deal?
So they do. They create data around marketing,
Yeah.
traditional and digital together. So they sort of are able to bring insights to the table.
And
that
it's
you can't-
legit. I mean, NVIDIA's their customer.
Oh yeah.
There's a Jensen quote on the homepage
Yeah.
of their website. So
Yeah.
it's pretty legit. And so we're excited to be
Yeah.
working with
It's
those
extremely
guys.
valuable for CMOs.
Yeah.
So
So a lot of fun stuff coming, a lot of new stuff. So check it out.
Peach wants
Maybe
to
it will
launch-
be season 2
yes,
on
maybe
episode
yeah,
9. It'll either be episode 9 coming or episode 1
of something
season
else.
2, but we'll see.
And Peach wants to launch her own spin-off called
spin-off?
at Peach and Presley.
Oh, okay.
The podcast.
Podcast.
PAWD.
There you go.
There you go.
Peach
So-
and Presley.
Peach and Presley.
So check them out.
The podcast girls.
We're out. See you guys.
Later.
Sightbox, unbox, when we open the door. New podcast dropping like never before. Tech and AI, here we got the cure. Founders for founders, the vision is pure.